Hi, today's insight is about decision and choice. And the way that this came about was actually, again, in pieces. Yet, it actually happened because someone called me out on my stuff. And usually that is an uncomfortable feeling. Um, yeah, I was very grateful because, well, it's all about how it's said and done. So, basically, I got called out on procrastinating, and a lot of it connected to business and just staying really stuck in figuring things out and the intellectual piece. Those that know me know I'm a thinker. I like to have things down and organized and all that good stuff. Yet, what I um, what I realize is that's only part of the equation. And so how this actually tied in, after that conversation, I just so happened to be connecting with some of the material that I learned for the soul realignment work that I do. And that teacher, she's great. She's very straightforward. It's all like online webinars. And so I'm listening to the course again, and she starts speaking about decision and choice and the difference. And, she was connecting it to how right now in this moment we have a new consciousness, let's say, to develop our spirituality, right? So we have the choice to actually do spirituality rather than simply be it or escape into, meditation or like someone else coming out to save us. It's more about choosing to be the spiritual beings that we are, the divine beings that we are in this physical plane, in this physical body. So anyway, so she starts connecting decision and choice and differentiating. And decision really is the thought. It is contemplating. It's consideration. It's looking at all the options. So when I think of decision, I think more like up here energy, right? A higher chakras where all those thoughts are forming. And then choice is action, right? It's the physical doing of the decision. And so when we define it, again, decision is a conclusion or a resolution after consideration, and choice is an act of selecting, a course of action. And so they're two very different things. And so what I realized is I was, or have been, stuck in a lot of decision making, a lot of figuring out, a lot of consideration, a lot of sometimes doubt. Because what happens with choice is that since it requires action, there's no taking it back, right? So when we're in the process of deciding, it's very easy to change our minds. There's so many choices available, and if it stays only in the mind, then it's easier to just change it and not put forth the action, right? The discipline piece of making that happen, that decision happen. So with choice, once we make it, it's like there's no going back. There's no erasing that. That's why it's harder to make, let's say, right choices. And when I mean right, or when I say right, I'm gonna discuss this a little bit related to the soul energy and what really is a right choice, right? So choice is uncomfortable. It takes us out of our comfort zone purposely because that's the only way that we're going to change it, right? And so a lot of times we get stuck in decision making. They call it analysis till paralysis, and then prevent the actual action, right? And so there can be fear, there can be doubt. And so when this happens, it's very important to keep the ultimate vision, the ultimate goal in mind. And this could be, connected to business. It could be connected to career, to family, to certain dreams, whatever decision it is that you are connecting to or need to make. Just know that the choice also needs to happen in order for something to actually change. And I often hear a lot of people, unhappy, whether it's in their work, in their home, in their relationship. And when we look at this equation, that a lot of the processing is in decision making, and they may say, I'm leaving this job and I'm leaving this person, yet until there's action, there's nothing's going to change, right? And so in my personal experience outside of business, that's happened to me a lot where, you know, I get to a point in my life where I feel like, okay, I've learned my lessons here, it's time to go, it's time to do something about it, and so I'll start deciding, what do I want to do next? How do I want to do this next thing? And what's really aligned for me? And so this is key because there are other factors, right, that come into play, whether it's time, perseverance, and then the soul aspect. So, and I'm going to bring it back to what I was hearing in the course again, because it just really impacted me, because we make all these decisions and choices so based on sometimes ego and personality and circumstances, and you know, almost never do we take the time and say, is this positive for my soul evolution? Is this what my soul is truly guiding me to do? Because there have been so many times where we haven't been able to make choices that are aligned with our soul, that it's like a new playing field, right? And so I invite you, if you want to get to know more of your soul energy and your divine gifts, then, you know, let's work together, let's converse, because what happens when we get to know our soul is there's an expansion of consciousness, and it literally will guide each decision and choice that we make consciously, right? So when I started to learn more about my soul gifts, there was empowerment, there was authentic power, a core knowing of why I'm here and what I'm great at, really. And so anytime that I am not aligned with that, I feel it. I feel it in my results. I feel it in my mental state. You know, my physical body shows me. So it's very important to get to know our soul, so that we know that the choices that we're making are positive, that they're aligning with it, because a positive choice for me may not be a positive choice for you, and it's all relative to the soul energy. That's why it's so important, and that's what's so beautiful about it, is that we all have these gifts, and when we align to them, it's like, wow, consciousness expands. And when we do it individually at that level, it is inevitable for it to not connect to the collective consciousness. So by me expanding our consciousness, we are helping the collective expand the consciousness. We are helping the collective really embody their own divine nature, right? And that's really why we're here, because we are spiritual beings in this physical body. We all chose to be in this flesh for this particular time in history, because it's unparalleled. There's nothing in history that relates to where we are now at the spiritual level, and also now in this realm. So get to know your soul. Really, that's the insight. Get to know your soul, so that the decisions you're making or contemplating are aligned, and then your choices are giving you the results that you want, that you desire, that you are aligned with, that are in your highest and greatest good at all times. And so, yeah, because soul level choices, it requires that we acknowledge that the soul is there. We can talk about our personality all we want, right? People will say, oh, I know myself, and so forth. Yet, do you know yourself at a soul level? Do you know the essence of yourself, right? That's the most important. Do you know how your blueprint works? We all have this blueprint. We all have this map. And when we know how to guide it, when we know how our blueprint works, then again, we're aligned to our soul purpose, our soul gifts, and then we are able to manifest. We're able to live in abundance, and not just financial abundance, right? Because that's only one aspect. That's only one piece. There's so many other ways of having and being abundant, right? Having abundance or being abundant. And so remember that we are living in a time where these choices to get to know our soul are actually accessible. They're possible. Again, I invite you to connect with me. If not, like, find resources to get to know yourself at the soul level, right, outside of the personality and ego, because that we've had a lot of time to do that. So now it's the soul level that we need to learn. Yeah, so decisions and choices, know the difference. Decision is at the thought level, choice is action level, and so both of them combined will give us results. And of course, in between there are emotions and vibrations and all that good stuff. Yet, let's keep it with those things. Remember that deciding doesn't necessarily mean you're going to have different results unless there is action. Action, action, action is what will drive the results. And get to know your soul, right? At all levels, get to know it. Get intimate with it, right? Understand it. Understand your blueprint so that you can align to your gifts and live this life to your fullest potential. Okay, that is today's insight. Thank you. Namaste.